And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Analyst Desk. We move on to game number 2 of today. Cyclops versus CLOUD9 in Japan versus Korea. Classic for APAC North. Des and Hap, welcome to the desk. Des, I know you've been under a lot of pressure for our last game. Both Fnatic and Fav were under a lot of pressure. So I'm going to break it down for our next one. Damwon versus C9. Let's talk about Damwon Gaming. This classic Korean organization derby. Two huge names in this case. CLOUD9 with their Korean pickup. Let's see what Damwon has to offer us.
Yeah, I was really impressed by these boys last week. Can you be forgiven for not knowing who many of these players are, to be fair? I've gone CLOUD9 first, I guess, in this case. Hap, do you want to take it?
Yeah, I'll take it, you know. CLOUD9, we officially recognize them as the top dogs of the league now, and they came in with a 7-5 win against Guts Gaming. But, you know, might be a bit close, but a win is still a win. It's still those 3 points that were coming out. Also, 5 out of their 6 rounds on the defense they managed to pick up, so it shows very well for the team. Just hope that they're going to be able to iron out a bit of the mistakes that they have been making over that past game, over that, well, attacking half mainly, because they let Guts get back into the rhythm. They let Guts get close to a potential overtime, which could have costed them a point. So CLOUD9 had to have worked on their attack because the defense was pretty solid.
Yes, come on in. Damwon, let's talk about it.
Yeah. Damwon we could talk about, like say. So for me, you'd be forgiven for not knowing who a lot of these players are. They used to be on a team known as Spear Gaming, then picked up by GC Busan Spear, quite a reputable organization. And now we're on DWG. It's been like a massive step up in reputation between the 3 orgs they've been part of here. And you'd be forgiven again for saying, I don't really know any of these players, Des. Why are they worth watching? Well, just look at the scores on the board. Yas with a 2.66 rating, Woogie on 1.75 as a support player, and Rin really worn into game. He was absolutely brilliant as we got towards the closing parts of the rounds. And then you had really Katsang and Coated sitting there saying, look, if you guys want to pop off, totally fine by us. They made a very emphatic entry on Oregon last week against Fnatic, and I think they could be one of the dark horses of this season.
I can't believe that is an actual real life rating, 2.56. Good Lord. It's insane, actually. So let's talk about the head-to-head. You guys picked one player out of each one of these 2 teams, and I'm quite curious to see who these people are and why specifically. Nova and Woogieman. Des, you mentioned the support play. Is this what we're going for here?
It absolutely is, and the reason why I highlight them is kind of look at the delivery they've got. It was a real bit of a bloodbath, to be honest with you, I thought last week, especially for DWG. But I think for both supported players, they both picked up the 2nd highest rating for their team, and both mid-70s in cost as well. Woogie, for me, had the really big pop-off factor, though. I think he went 14-8 last week rather than 12-8. Maybe I'm wrong on that one. My big question for looking at the other side is you look at players like Nova and the other backline members of C9. Are they going to be able to step up to the likes of Woogie, of Rin, of Yas, given how well they played last week? That to me is the big storyline to watch out for. Do C9 have the firepower to stack up against the big performance from last week?
Well, the firepower they definitely have, and Nova is going to be like he is the support, like the last man standing most of the time, right? He's going to be that person that gets put into these clutch situations, like we just had with, for example, Afama on Fnatic. The smoke mains are the ones that usually, supposedly, have to be the last one alive. And, well, Nova, that game didn't really pop off as much as Woogieman did, but we all know that he can show up, and we all know that he has that clutch factor as well. And it's just a matter of time before we start seeing that in this game.
Woogieman more like Boogeyman, and it's Damwon more like Damson after our last game.
Not again.
I'll give you that.
Used that one.
What?
I didn't hear it. First time for me. Milos just a genius, no one else is. Sorry.
You posted on Twitter last week.
Well, Des doesn't check my Twitter. Let's just be clear there. But Des and I think
I got you muted.
Very much alike. Look, I would expect somebody else to do that in the UK, but not you. So just something to put out
Always
there.
full of surprises.
Always full of surprises, indeed. Let's see which map we're going to be playing on in this series. Maybe there will be a surprise. I don't know. There's going to be a Chalet? No, Villa. They ban it right at the end. CLOUD9 remove Chalet. Damwon remove Coastline, and CLOUD9 that take us to Villa with that final ban. They're going to be starting off on the attacking side. Unfortunate there. But is it, though? How does this fit? We still have a couple of minutes before we go into the game. So, Hap, do you think this is the right decision for Cloud9 to go to a map so structured?
I mean, it is going to be hard to tell, right? Like we've seen not too much yet from Damwon. We've known that Cloud9 has the opportunity and have done so in the past of taking down, for example, Giants on some of the structured maps. So I think that they are wanting to bring it towards that position to maybe, I don't know, like I think it will be a good choice in the end. I believe if I'm looking at the previous result, I also see that the Korean Open was won by Cloud9 also against Damwon. I'm not sure what maps were played there. Oh no, Villa. That was the decider map which they never got to go to. So we are going to be seeing it right now. So, but again,
both teams hate Villa. This has been both teams' most banned map over the last year. Both teams barely ever play here, even ahead of maps like theme parks. And to me, I was quite surprised to see it coming out. But I feel like it's a kind of war of attrition between both teams. Like Hap said, it was going to be the decider game between them when they last played. Didn't quite get to that point. It almost feels like both teams know the other hates it. It's now a question of who hates it more that's really going to kind of step into this game and have an influence. So we get to see Cloud9 on a different map. All fine by me.
We have seen it in BDS, for example, as well. Has always banned it, now managed to suddenly play it. So maybe it is just part of the renewed Cloud9 who've decided to expand their map pool and want to play it right now. So that could be an option, could be a possibility that we might be witnessing here.
Well, you talk about the disadvantage that Damwon has being the fresher team in the league right now, especially if you compare it to Cloud9. What are some of the real advantages that Cloud9 can have against them on Villa, since we know how effective they can be in general and how much more structured with their experience they can be after 2020?
I just think, to be honest with you, for both teams, like there's not even like a synergy argument that can be made here, because the guys on DWG, although the team may be new, a lot of these guys have played together previously, again on Spear Gaming and GC Boost on Spear. So I think stepping into this, you've got two teams that know each other quite well. They're on a map where they can play their own game quite effectively, given the size of Villa, given that basement rarely ever used is a nice little hidey hole for roamers. I personally think that probably benefits DWG. I wouldn't say Cloud9 are a massive aggressive roaming team. They're a lot more structured. So nothing else the size of the map will benefit them, but more coordinated pushes will go and benefit to Cloud9.
I think I have to agree there. Like I've not been able to find the last time that Cloud9 played Villa on like a very at this skill, right? A tier 1 play.
Dig into the history books, shall we?
I'm looking as well. But I couldn't find it during the major
13th
finals.
of October against Fav Gaming in stage 2, they won 8-6.
And there we have it. But not in the finals, not during the majors. So they haven't been playing it during their major tournaments. So there's nothing really to go on here, rather than just knowing Cloud9 for Damwon.
They played Giants and won 7-4 at the August major, but that's like nearly 9 months ago now. It's barely relevant anymore.
It definitely is not in terms of the grand scheme of things. But that said, Hapdes, thank you so much. Time for us to throw things over to our casters. And it's Ace and Jess that await. Jess had just a tiny bit of time to run and get fresh and ready for this second game. Let's see how excited she'll be with Ace this time on the caster desk. Let's take it. Cloud9 versus Damwon Gaming. Big Korean matchup here. All yours.
Thank you, Milosh. And we have two teams. We've got two casters. We've got a map, Jess. And we are ready for what could be the absolute throwdown of the day. Cloud9 versus Damwon. Are you excited, Jess? Are you more excited than with Des? I think that's the real question.
You know what? Anytime I can slap down Des, whether it's a roast, whether it's a put down, I don't care what it is, I will absolutely say it. And being a caster next to you is my dream compared to being a caster next to Des. So don't tell him I said that, but I'm sure someone will clip him and tag him in it. But nevertheless, anytime Damwon's been playing since I casted them in relegations, I have been ever so excited to see what this team brings, especially their main star of Cat saying, I want to see what's going on there. Is he going to pop off today, or is Ring going to take the spotlight again? I don't know, but Cloud9, this will be the first I really do think they're going to be pushed to their limits.
I think you're right. I think it's a really interesting contrast if we have a look at the Cloud9 side versus the Damwon side that we saw last time around. Damwon absolutely reined in the kills, Jess. They really did. If we have a look at that Cloud9 side, granted, they played a few less rounds, but they still went all the way to 12. And you only had Envy Taylor going in there 11-7. Beyond that, the most was sort of 9. If you have a look by contrast at what Damwon did last time around when they played Fnatic, as I say, yes, they had those few extra rounds going into overtime. But if we look at the top 3, 16 kills, Yas, 14 Woogieman, 13 Rin. It's absolutely nuts. 43 kills between the top 3 players. Cloud9 are going to have to be on their game here. And both teams excelled on defense last time around. We go to a defender-sided map. Damwon start on defense. Cloud9 have got their work cut out.
It's going to be a Thatcher and a Maverick ban on a map like Villa that is it's going to cripple the attacking side of which Cloud9's starting on. I'm trying to think how you're going to deal with it. You're going to have to go below. You're going to have to toss grenades over above. There's ways to deal with it, but it makes you limited, and it means the defenders is kind of going to know what's going on. Go-Yo ban is huge. I think on a map like Villa or on any map, you know, that just has that kind of emptiness to get that shields in play. That's what's going to cripple a team like Damwon, who we know likes to use shields on multiple different maps. So I think for Damwon specifically, that's a crippling ban, that's a target ban, and that's one that's going to make them reel a little bit. Do they take other operators with deployables? Do they change their strategies up? Do they have maybe some other strategies to work with Ace? Whatever it is, they've got to start stacking it up now.
They certainly do, and it's not just about necessarily what you're removing, it's what you're forcing the other team to do as well. You know, you explained to me quite well the other day, Jess, when we were watching, I think, the EUL games. There was a couple of shield positions on Villa that you picked out, you know, that were particularly useful, and you've got an operator there who can bring multiple shields along. If you want to cover all of those locations, particularly on those 2 top floor sites, you're now having to shape your lineup around that, and Damwon's hand is being forced a little bit if they want that same shield coverage.
Absolutely. We did see that Nook flash there for a singular moment. However, MV says no.
No!
Oh, Ace. Oh, it's a terrible start.
Oh,
my heart breaks for Damwon, because at the end of the day, we saw it in their last matchup. It was an insanely close matchup that went to the last overtime round point that it can go to. If they lose this round based off the fact that they started as a 4v5 and they lost a Valkyrie with all half of their intel, then that could be the end of this entire matchup, purely based off the fact you lose one round. I mean, that's awful.
Look who you've lost as well. Jess, I don't want to pile on, but this just gets worse and worse. You've lost Katsang. Not only have you lost Katsang, you've lost Valkyrie with almost certainly 3 black eye cameras still in pocket. I would be amazed if any of those had been deployed. That is just about as bad as a team kill gets.
Oh, I'm going to pile on a little bit more. N1C4. I'm done.
Stop it.
I'm done. We're going to let that one. You know what? They're starting off with bad karma so that later on in the matchup, they get good karma. It's how the balance works out. That's how this is going to absolutely ebb and flow for us here. We can only hope. But this bodes really well for C9 in their first attacking round. We say that, and I said it in the very last matchup when I was with Dez, but unfortunately a lot of these rounds have been a defending sided, and it's not looking that way if they come storming through this way. But hey, guess what, boys? A couple of drones would have helped you out here, but it doesn't matter.
A lot of immediate aggression coming in from C9 from that south side, just rushing in the main door. Very well coordinated, pushing to study at the same time. Fortunate though, I think only to lose one in that initial push. It was very important for Static to rush up those stairs and get that frag and really start the ball rolling for Cloud9. Otherwise, Yas could have had an absolute field day. But as the dust settles, we find ourselves now 3 versus 2 advantage still to Cloud9, but it stalled out a little bit. They came in all guns blazing, trying to get themselves straight into a position, I think, to get the diffuser down. They were looking to really just swamp DWG, but were unable to. So things have settled down a little bit. We've got the diffuser down cold on the ground. That's going to be something now that Damwon have to focus on. Rin and Woogieman, they're the only ones remaining.
Diffuses all the way in the middle of side. It's not even in a good position to pick it up either. So if I was the attackers, I'd be focusing on pinching the last two remaining defenders. One of them is on site, Rin lurking over towards landing. MV Taylor has surprised me a little bit. He's actually rotated around the map twice, almost like he's running his own little marathon out there. The finger boost helping him out with that. And Rin, he's made sure that he's rotated all the way to 90. This is going to be a prime position. No drone to speak of, but they know Rin is there. So there must be intel of some kind, and Charles sitting ever so close to them, going, all right, peek me. It's the first two picks who will either win or lose. Who's it going to be? Is it going to be the carbine, or will it be the assault rifle? And nevertheless, trades back and forth will come out, and Cloud9, that numbers advantage is what works out for them in the end, Ace. And I tell you what, a little bit of coordination goes a long way, and a team kill also helps for the cause.
Not the best start for Damwon overall. I think, we can probably scratch that round and put it down to a few unfortunate circumstances. But interestingly there, at the 90 corridor at the end of things, Rin had an opportunity on a different day with the wind blowing in a different direction. That one goes very, very differently. Let me tell you that, Jess. Pops out, he gets the first, doesn't quite hit the second. If those shots land differently, then we're looking at a different situation. 2 versus 1, and Damwon more than likely close the round out. But a good start from Cloud9. I like to see some early aggression there, taking the initiative on attack. I said it was the side that they struggled on a little bit more last time. They were more solid on defense. So good to see them coming out here and really taking a round away from Damwon, which is what happened, I think. That wasn't necessarily Damwon losing it. They didn't help themselves, but Cloud9 came in, took the initiative and took the round.
Well, now they'll have the full 5-man to work with here, and I don't want to cast a curse them, so don't just pop another shotgun into the side of your teammate as I'm saying this. We want some positive caster blessings here, so not caster curses. Nevertheless, they're going to go back to Aviator. A lot of teams will, sort of get a little bit, get that lack of confidence, Ace, and they go, actually, let's go over to Trophy. Let's pick another side to go to, because that one didn't really work out for us. They've decided, you know what, if we had our full 5 stack working with this, we might have won that one. I do agree. I do very much agree there would have been a C4 in hand when they started rushing in, an extra gun to work with, even though it's the MPX in total. Overall now, they've got a lot to work with, and they've got those Banshees as well, which they didn't have before. So this will work a lot better for them, but I don't think C9 are going to rush in the way they did last time. They actually 6-picked the figure out, and Damwon, they won't know that just yet. Hello?
I think it's not something that you'll likely get away with twice, and we can see that Yas has been put downstairs for exactly that reason. Damwon recognising that the main pressure came from that main door and upside stairs to begin with, and they're going to try to shut that down nice and early. Yas, that is his job done. That's exactly what he was there to do. Just get down there, make that challenge, move away, and he's rotated himself back through Astro. However, he's rotated himself straight through the enemy lines of Cloud9, who this time are looking to apply pressure from that northern side. We've got Static and Shio just working their way in through Astro, and they are hot on the heels of Yas. But once again, I think he's just been able to wriggle away from that pressure. Now, it looks like the attack is building in, certainly, I'd say, a more circular fashion here, rather than just a south-sided push.
Well, Damwon have read into this quite well, and this is what I like to call Shiko spot on red stairs there. He'll usually rock the Jaeger on red stairs, right? You see Rin doing it. Oh, Static. He got punished for peeking through there, and so does Rin. We said the red stairs Shiko spot was the play for the Jaeger, but it just doesn't happen to be. Did he double kill? Was that a down? I missed that one, Ace, but either way, Yas, he's going to be the king of the other stairs over on the south. I'm telling you what, that Yas that we saw last week coming out and being strong in this game will absolutely confirm to me that Yas is on the right team now. He just needed the right environment. He's now on Damwon, and he is firing off.
Yas really starting to carve a position for himself in APAC North. There's no doubt about it. As you say, 3-on-1 now, a big flank there that really has flipped the round on its head. We've got Nova just holding an angle from that 90 window, just looking to see if he can catch any feet in or around sight. He's going to try to improve his line of sight a little bit, just using that Selma gadget on the wall to try and just make it a little less breathable in side of sight. And the foot will just be missed by Shio. There was an opportunity there for at least a little bit of chip damage, and that's exactly what Courted takes on the Alibi, just losing some HP in a gun battle there. Still 3 versus 4. 30 seconds now left to go. Harper diffuser in hand, sitting on the north side, just waiting for the opportunity to push in through that door, try and get down in that default spot behind the vault door and plant that diffuser if the opportunity to presents. But right now, Cloud9 just seem to have stolen out a little bit. Shaol just moving forward to use his gadgets, try and get those stun grenades in and create to carve an opportunity for that diffuser to go in. This is the extent of the push now, and shut down by Yas and Woogieman as he swings the study door. And Cloud9, that is attack number 2 done, dusted, and unsuccessful.
I was looking through towards where Yas was, and no study pressure whatsoever to be seen there from the attackers, and that means that he had free reign, and he actually would have walked away from with an ace if Woogieman hadn't swung around and got that SMG shot over towards map table. So overall, a brilliant round there for the defenders. You got to be careful, though, because Yas, if you let him run away with this kind of confidence and momentum, you will not stop the man. I cannot understate this enough. Go back to Damon's game last week. He had a field day against the opponents back then. I believe that was Fnatic. And today, he's just kicking off. He's managed to have 2 rounds, managed to have a huge hit here. My problem is here for C9 is that as defender-sided as we've seen the stats go for the past couple of play days, that you can't lean on that. You can't just go, oh, it's our attacking side. Like, that's okay, that's okay. No, you probably should have won that. You probably should have been able to open up a few more lines of sight. You had the northern side of the map early on. What happened? Why weren't things getting opened up earlier? Was there a time delay of some kind? And that's why I'm sort of thinking to myself, okay, C9, we saw you a little bit rusty last week. Don't bring that rust into this week. Otherwise, things will look dangerous against a team like Damwon that just seems to be manipulating all of those mistakes.
An interesting statistic for Yas from last week, Jess, from the last play day, would be that he had a 60% survival rate as well. So if you've got a player who's going to start hitting his shots and making a nuisance of himself like he is today, 5 kills in 2 rounds, that's a bit of a problem for you, because the likelihood is that if we play all 12 rounds, statistically, he's going to be alive for 7 of those, for the entirety of them. And if he's hitting shots throughout them, that's going to become a big problem very, very quickly.
You're absolutely correct. Nevertheless, Nova will make his ingress onto the map and he'll push over towards study, which is actually a bad idea if you are the hard breach, because Rin is waiting there to get some pop shots off from AV door over to study. MV Taylor yet again given the role of pushing downstairs and making sure no one is there. This is what I was worried about. That Rim would just peek on out and manage to get shots off onto key players. It's only the Ash, and I say that in quoted commas there to say, you know what, it's an important operator, but not as important as Nova. And it shocks me to death that Nova's the one that's pushing up here, Ace, because I can guarantee that his Ace charges, his Selmas would be far better used over towards bedroom right now.
Well, I mean, ultimately, I think it's coming down to necessity at this point, isn't it? We've lost Static, we've lost MV Taylor, that's the Ash and Jackal off the board, 2 of the operators that you would expect to take the initiative in that sort of push, and really for Nova to be moving in behind them, or as you say, even rotating around and putting pressure onto Master once his droning work is done, and to look to open up those angles, but not been possible for him so far. Shaol just dipping down underneath, and right now, Cloud9, they're having to scramble here in round 3. Harper seems a little bit unsure of exactly where to be going into the building. It just feels a little bit like Cloud9 don't quite have a handle on where everybody is here.
Villa's a little bit like that. You can let defenders run around in multiple different levels in multiple ways. So it is a tricky map to isolate a lot of those defenders, especially if they're really slippery and they just run around as they please. That's why you'll see a lot of pre-placed drones. At the moment, Charles, he's getting a live drone behind Harper as well. And this looks good. This bodes really well for the attackers to know that there's no C4s below. That's great. But now you've only got 60 seconds to work with. Have you opened up the wall? Are you prepared to get a plant off? What's going on? Is Charles, does he have any impacts? Yes, he does, but I don't think they're too worried about it, because guess what? The diffuser's over on landing, so are all the Selma charges, and Rin in a prime position to deal with this.
Shao manages to find the kill onto Yas, and that starts things pushing forward for Cloud9 here. We're coming down to that final 30-second execution phase. Rin taking big damage from behind as Harper shuts him down. 3 versus 3, but we have a man down and dead inside of sight. Katsang getting his first kill of the day, but Nova and Harper go wild. Find 2 between them, and it all of a sudden comes down to that man. Katsang has 2 kills to his name. Find that to be 3. 1 versus 1. No, Harper manages to step out and close down down the round for Cloud9. Very close. And to be honest, a very good round coming out attackingly from Cloud9 there. They suffered a couple of early deaths. They didn't let it phase them and got themselves straight back into the mix.
I don't understand. You said it was a great attacking round from C9, and it was. I was a little bit confused by the push and the operators that were brought for the push and how they were executing it. I was glad to see a live drone come out, towards the end of the round, and that was okay. There were flashes of greatness. My worry is if Nova's going to be the primary support player, especially the hard breacher for the team, he's not going to use his Selmas. He's not going to plant when he has the diffuser in hand from start to finish. Then what is he doing? Take a fragging operator then. If you don't want to use your operator for its purpose, then go take another operator. That's my big problem here. And I worry that C9 are trying to do too much at all times, and they're not really getting to the crux of the site and making sure that they dismantle it. They're just hoping that Damwon peak them. And fair enough, Damwon's an aggressive team and they've been peaking them. So for the moment, it hasn't been too detrimental, but it will become if Damwon read into that.
A risky strategy, as you say, going in and looking to win it on the gunfights. You've always got to have that objective in mind. It's easily lost, but, we're not in a team deathmatch game here, and there are more than one way to put that number up on the board, and I think sometimes, you're right, taking advantage of that, can be a successful option. But right now, looking at the round in hand, we move into round number 4. It is currently 2-1 to Cloud9. We're going to be trying for Damwon to defend Trophy and Statuary again. A lot of focus of utility heading over to that master side. We've got Yas on the roam downstairs, just making himself unpredictable as ever, moving cleanly through Piano there, looking to apply a bit of pressure towards main door should there be any attempt at ingress in that direction. Katsang also joining downstairs as well in the lounge area. And right now, Cloud9, they're mounting a similar push, Jess. Nova is out there on that south balcony, and the concern remains about exactly what is going to be gained from those Selma devices.
Oh, there we go. Study wall is reinforced off, and Rin. Oh, beautiful quick peek. Guess what? Gets one for the trouble. Can't get Static this round, but no, that's a bit of a revenge from Static from the previous round when Rin was able to take them down, put Static down to a whopping 25 HP. So that's not too bad if you ask me. But getting rid of Nova, those Selmas, those smokes, and the diffuser planter, who is generally meant to be the diffuser planter, that's a big pick to start off with. If you're asking me a trade for an ace, for a Jaeger, if it's worth it, absolutely in this case.
Oh, totally. I mean, as you picked out last time, why is Nova pushing in that direction? These are questions that need to be asked, and as the round continues, we'll see just how much impact that does or doesn't have. And Damwon, I think if they recognise that Ace has gone down, need to play it smart, and they need to, play into that, and like you say, not peak. But right now, Harper is pushing forward for Cloud9, looking to move through and apply some pressure from that south side, get a little bit closer in towards the site. Envy Taylor just holding angles from beneath as well. Katsang, however, is going to find Chayol, and this is a round that seems to be edging its way towards Damwon at this point, but the aggression certainly mounts towards that south side door, heading in towards Statuary. Now, they need to be very, very careful, of course. Static on just under 25 health, and there will only be 1 or 2 ticks from the toxic babes to take him down.
There's a little bit of a preview of the Gone that's going to get rid of the Banshee. And as I say that, Harper will dispatch a Woogie Man. They didn't put bedroom pressure last time. Now they finally do, and it will absolutely reap rewards here for C9. They've absolutely been able to even the man count for the most part, and with 40 full seconds to work with, that's great. But unfortunately, without the ace in hand, they're going to have to deal with Katsang here in the side of bathroom and closet. A little bit of a rotate made here. Surely he saw the cross. I'm not entirely sure, but Envy is going to start the plan. It's a 25 HP low Ash to cover, and as the red pigs start raining out, it's going to be a Damwon retake surely to make this kick off.
Nice and easy for Damwon to step in there and find those kills. Courted gets the final one as Envy Taylor had successfully got the diffuser on the ground. Nicely manoeuvred in through that south statuary door to get it down, but ultimately the kills rained in for Damwon only seconds later. They were well prepared for it, and is the problem there, Jess, that there just wasn't enough pressure inside of sight because walls hadn't been opened and utility not cleared?
You know, the greatest example of the lack of bedroom pressure that really could have won them the round was the moment that Harper opened up that bedroom window, he got a free kill. Had you had that earlier on in the round, even if it was just perceived pressure of opening up all the windows and making them think that someone was out there watching that would have done a world of wonders. The trouble is, if you're a defender and all of the bedroom windows are closed, you can put your back to it. You can feel predominantly safe. You can look towards the attackers moving in from the other side of the map. That's when things get a bit tricky, because as an attacker, you want defenders to be worried about every angle, not just their 180 towards you. So that's where I think C9 are going wrong. Really one-dimensional in their push and not really innovating with their utility at the same time.
Heading back to Aviator Games for round number 5 then. Again, a very similar setup coming out by the looks of things here from Damwon. We've got the shield in place to prevent that north side push that we saw last time, which was, of course, the focus for Cloud9. They're also seem to be playing quite reactively, Jess. So we've got a concern now about South Stairs. We've got barbed wire on there. We've got a shield pointing towards North Door. It's almost like this defence is adapting each time to what Cloud9 brings.
There are some teams, and I'm going to probably bring up Team Empire for the greatest worldwide international example that we have, that just follow their strat regardless. It's like a recipe. They never change it. They put the same ingredients in. They cook it for the same time, no matter what. And then there's a team like Damwon that says, all right, we're going to see how we're feeling that day. Are we feeling like we want it more salty? Do we want it more sweet? Are we hungry? Are we not so hungry? How do we want to go about it? That's what Damwon strikes me as, and that's why you're seeing really on-the-fly adaptation, and that can be really exciting to watch, but it can mean that a team that is aware they're going to be adapted to can just employ a brand new strategy completely and just completely outsmart a team like Damwon. So it has positives and negatives.
Like a game of 3D chess, Cloud9 just trying to keep themselves one step ahead now. Rin almost getting in there and opening things up for us once again, but this time will take damage in the process and have to dip away and just live to fight another day, as Envy Taylor also takes a good chunk of damage on the Jackal. And of course, they'll be wanting to use that tracking ability to try and close down these slippery roamers from the side of Damwon, particularly in the form of Rin and Yas, who have been causing a major problem. Rin just finding himself now in that Shackle spot, just looking to play off Red Stairs and pressure in towards the trophy window.
I love how they're now finally using these Selmas to great effect. You've got the red bottom platform 90 line of sight. That's beautiful. Envy gets gifted a kill yet again onto Rin on those stairs, and it wouldn't have mattered, because if Rin tried to rotate out, they would have got spotted by that Selma opening up onto that single wall. Now, Katsang below. This seems like a little bit of a randomized place to sort of engage someone, but that's, of course, the Jackal's job, is to try and get those pesky roamers, and unfortunately, he falls. My problem is now is that there are still more roamers to deal with. Who's going to go and deal with them? Is the lone player of Static below trying to deal with the mute jammers? That's not technically the best operator to deal with it, so he's got to be careful.
It doesn't feel, to be honest, like Static's purpose down there is to be aware of or challenge the roamers. Now, unfortunately, Damwon have been unaware of that, and I feel like there was an opportunity for Katsang there. Static was absolutely locked into that IQ scanner, focusing at the ceiling, and had Katsang been aware of that, it would have been an absolute freebie to move in there and to take the man down and gain that advantage, that weight of numbers for the round. But as we move into the final throws, 35 seconds left to go. 4-4, we find ourselves. Battle lines are drawn, and Cloud9 right now are looking for that north-sided approach again. Are they aware of Courted? Absolutely they are. Harper moves in, swings on the corner and gets a great kill. Follows it up with a second onto Katsang. That was a beautiful headshot as well. 4 versus 2 now, and Cloud9, they're looking solid. Harper doing absolutely everything for his team at the minute, gets in by the maps, avoids the default spot quite correctly and gets the diffuser down because of it. The Nitro being completely unsuccessful. Kills raining in on both sides, and this is 2 versus 1. Woogie Man has it all to do with diffuser down on the ground. He's going to head for that disable. Is there somebody in a position to challenge? Absolutely there is. Shio moves in with a headshot, finishes the round. Cloud9 take the advantage on attack once again, and this is not looking good for Damwon, considering that defense was their best suit last Playday.
You could also see that they'd air jabbed off the door, so no challenge could happen on red. Not that the IQ was going to challenge red, because a smart IQ, as we saw them rotating down, was going underneath. And when you pull out the scanner, you can see exactly where someone is when they're diffusing. So you can just start peppering shots through the floor, and it's a pretty easy deny from there. So even if Charlotte lost, I really don't think that retake could have occurred, and that was going to be a pretty easy round from C9. This is where my worry comes in, Ace. That's a lot of rounds there in the side of C9 on their first half on their attack. That really doesn't bode well for Damwon. Like you said, they're pretty defensive-sided, as is every team has shown on Playday 1. They are more defensive-sided than they are attacking. So if C9 comes in strong in their attacking half here, I mean, things are looking pretty good for them as we swing into the last round of the first half. Imagine they win this round too. I don't see it going very well for Damwon in the second half.
No, I think that heavily weights things in favour of Cloud9 if they can come in with a 4-2 advantage onto the defence. Now, we've got to remember, of course, that Damwon, they've shown us that resilience. They managed to come back against Fnatic when it did look like the chips were stacked against them, but there will be work for them to be done, and Cloud9 could be a completely different beast. Now, we're just seeing, again, additional resources placed on those south stairs. We've got a Banshee on there as well as the barbed wire this time around. There's a Banshee being placed out towards that north side, and again, as I said, Damwon, they are reacting well. They are using their utility to try and deal with problems that they've experienced previously, and it's interesting to watch this defense sort of evolve and develop, and the addition of new gadgets. But right now, Cloud9, they just seem to have the answers, and Static just taking a few pot shots through the study door there. You never know what you're going to find, and Harper, it is who finds a headshot onto Katsang. That's going to shut the Malusi down very quickly. Inside the first 20 seconds, Cloud9 taking the advantage, and you just feel that tide of change washing over Damwon here, Jess. The momentum is certainly shifting towards Cloud9.
Rin was an explosive player last Playday, has been shut down round after round after round. I think Rin has met their maker, unfortunately. Cloud9 is too much to handle for them, and Damwon, all those aggressive, explosive plays that worked for them last Playday don't work against a team like C9. They're too ready for you. They're ready to go head-to-head mechanically, and they've got the skills to prove it. So for me, right now, Damwon, they're reading the recipe, and I guess the product that they're getting at the end is totally not what the recipe has set out for them in total, and it must be so aggravating for them because this is what worked last week. Why doesn't it work this week? I think there's a lot that they need to answer for.
We've got to remember, of course, Damwon, you know, a team being put together under that new org coming into Siege. And as you say, there's going to be lessons to be learnt for them. And Yas certainly seems to have hit the ground running, had a great game, 8 kills so far in this defensive half. Just needs a little bit more support from those around him. I feel he's just positioned on the south stairs at the minute, again, trying to keep himself unpredictable. But right now, look at this Cloud9 having an absolute field day from underneath, clearing utility left, right and centre.
My big problem here is that Damwon seems to be taking those dangerous 1v1s. So you see Yas here on these particular stairs. He can do damage, but there's 2 of them there. They'll absolutely get the trade. Or if you've got a triple crossfire, then you're going to be absolutely secure the kill. Woogie Man somehow has dropped down and get the little bit of a sneaky flank. And that's the unexpectedness that you can do to a team like Cloud9. But you can't look away from Study because that's where Nova is, waiting with bated breath. And that is a much more structured C9. There was a triple crossfire to Yas on those south stairs. This is a team that we have pretty much given the name of the new kings of APAC North, and they're showing in that round alone that they deserve that title.
Yeah, looking very, very solid there. And I think it's only fair at this point that we mention, we've discussed Yas's kills a couple of times. What about Harper coming in and having a real performance for Cloud9 here? Got a plant to his name. 9 kills, I think it is now, unless he picked up that final one. I didn't quite catch the name on that one. But Harper going absolutely some distance towards the, the position that Cloud9 find themselves in now.
And I'm loving the new overlay that we get. It's kind of like the fuse for a bomb, where we've only got 20 seconds left to talk to your coach. Make it worth it. Otherwise,
cut the red wire, Jess.
You know what? I do think that for Damwon right now, and I'm going to make the assumption that they call this particular time, and as you should, because nowadays you are not finding that what you're putting on the board is working. Cloud9 is a very structured team. I'm a little bit worried for Damwon. You said they came back against their opponents last week. I don't think it's the same sort of bread and butter here when you're going up against C9. I think you've got to be really strict with yourselves here, and on your attacking half, that's going to be very difficult.
Well, it's time for Cloud9 to send a message now, isn't it? They came out last week, and whilst they got the win, it still left a little question mark. You know, it was C9 question mark up at the top of the table. You know, are they going to stay there? Are they going to be able to maintain that sort of position? The wonderful live rankings that we've got top right of your screen show us that Cloud9 will be sitting pretty after this one if it finishes as it is. And I think this performance really starts to answer some of those questions, Jess.
I think I did say that it was going to be one of those testing games, and I really felt that that was going to be on a mechanical level. I didn't necessarily feel it was going to be a tactical level. I feel the same way about T1 as an organization. They're very strong mechanically. They're very aggressive. They show their strength in that way. I guess mechanically, we're seeing that C9 hasn't dropped the ball since last year at all. So I can tick that off the list. Now we need to see them tested, I guess, strategically. And that's what we're going to see here now that they're on their defense. Can they hold up on their defense as well as their attack? If they win this matchup, that confirms to me. And then I'm going to need to see a strategic team in future matches that can really test their strategies rather than just their mechanical skill.
I mean, strategy, you know, a little less sort of impactful on attack sometimes. It is a more reactive part of the game. But I think Cloud9 have started to answer that. We said that Damwon have reacted each time and they've adapted the defence. And Cloud9 have had the answer on attack. So they've certainly shown that they've got more than a plan A. They've come with plan B, plan C, and they've been able to overcome that.
Well, we'll see whether or not Damwon has the answer as well. They're going to need to bring it swiftly because the rounds are running away from them ever so quickly. 2-round deficit so far. That's hard to make up here on the attack. So we'll see whether or not their gunners are able to step on up. Their big hit for the moment, who was their big hitter last week as well, Yas. He's got 8 kills for his name currently. He's on the Yana, so you would expect him to be doing some kind of roam clear along the side of Katsane, for example. Maybe even Rin would be doing some of those entry points as well. And I mean, they're getting in quick, at least for this north push.
Not messing about at all. Yas going straight in there, able to remove that frost mat, and Rin will follow. So that could be a deadly duo moving in from the north side. Chayol, however, finds the opener onto Katsang. That's the Ash gone by the wayside, and things not looking fantastic for Damwon here. This could be a very important round. If Cloud9 can find themselves 5-2 ahead and defending, it's going to be an awfully big mountain to climb for Damwon at that point now. Then out goes the Iana drone, just looking to feed some information in. But are they aware of Envy Taylor looking to move up those Astro stairs on the flank? Harper finds Rin. His great game continues. Finds himself now at 10 kills, hitting double figures. Yas finds Shao on the red stairs. But Static, every time there is a kill from Damwon here, Cloud9 seem to have an answer. Can they back up an answer onto Yas there as he finds Nova? 57 seconds left to go. Cloud9 taking damage once again inside of sight, but it is all down to the 2 talisman players that we've seen out of Damwon so far, Yas and Woogieman. They need to find a way. Woogieman has been a little bit quiet so far here on Villa compared to Playday number 1. Now then, the Attics, the angles are just being held. Sorry, we've got a couple inside a sight. Cloud9 happy to allow Damwon to try and play into them here. Envy Taylor just going to hold that 90 corridor on the angle with the frost. Now then, Yas moving upstairs, has to back away after taking out that deep fall. Cam will look for the nade from underneath, and that will be unsuccessful. 15 seconds left to go, and I am starting to get really concerned about this clock. Yas needs to get himself into the fight. 10 seconds and moving up the stairs. Woogieman about to push in, will do so under the cover of smoke, but completely shut down by Static, who just sprays into the darkness and finds the head. Time runs out, and Cloud9 win yet another round. 5-2, and they are in the ascendancy.
Well, there you go. Yet another confirmation for me as they move into their second half that Cloud9, they've got the answer that's needed, especially against a team like Damwon. My problem for Damwon there is they couldn't really deal with the red stairs pressure early enough. They did manage to, and they put in the same sort of pressure that C9 did on their attack. Open up the wall over towards red, make sure you get a couple of crossfires. Their initial crossfire was a little bit early. There was a lack of coordination, so that's why they lost their initial player very quickly. But they managed to keep that up, and things started to go downhill very quickly from there. My problem was they weren't close enough to the site to show me whether or not strategically Damwon had what the site needed. They lost purely out of gunfights, and My problem with that is it's Cloud9. They've got a really good strategy. We just haven't seen it tested. They're just winning based off shooting back better. And you don't really want to see a game go that way. You want to see them tested from start to finish. They didn't really have to put in a lot of effort there, Ace, because at the end of the day, if they peak and they lose their gunfights, well, of course, damn one, they're just going to be sitting on the back foot with, the man disadvantage.
And that's, to be honest, how it's felt for me throughout this game so far. Damwon just always seem to be playing from a position of disadvantage. And Cloud9 have taken full advantage of that. What I like to see is, Jess, they have not, there has been no quarter asked nor given here from Cloud9. They are in there. They've got the boot on the neck of Damwon right now, and they are holding them down and just applying pressure to them. They are not allowing them any room to maneuver whatsoever. They're just not allowing them. They're just keeping them completely oppressed inside of this game. There's just no space for them whatsoever. So right now, Cloud9, they are extending their defense. They're going to be in trophy and statuary, but we've got a lot of utility that has been applied out to that south side this time around. So they are looking to prevent any sort of top floor control from Damwon, which again it's just, would I be right in saying, Jess, that once again, it's just an aggressive defensive strategy there. Get up in their faces and don't allow them that breathing space.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it seems like a dual fold kind of hold as well, because they've got the KIA there for the triple wall. They've opened up the vertical hole so no thermite can be applied for the feed holes. So there is a lot of strategy to it. But then you look to the second half of their setup and it is quite aggressive. So I don't know what it is they're hoping to achieve. It looked like aggression was how they wanted to start on the side of bedroom. Doesn't bode well. 1C4 drops below and it's Yas to dispatch him. Oh, read like a book, surely, but that's a missed shot from Yas. And all of a sudden, that angle that would have been advantageous to him is no longer. And I'm not sure what Static was thinking there, Ace, but peeking out on a door against 3 different probable ACOGs towards you with a mere SMG is probably not the play.
It's the sort of peak that I take on, unfortunately, Jess, if I've got to be honest, as you experienced earlier on today. But hopefully, just like me, Static's now on those drones and feeding some great information into the team. Now, that is a great nade underneath the feet of Nova there, just to take the man down. And we currently find ourselves now 5 versus 2, and pressure is going to start mounting very, very quickly. It looks like Nova will be brought back into the round onto 20 HP, but that is still only 1 bullet away from death. And right now Yas is just careening around on that Iana Gemini, just trying to gain some information, some intel to feed back into his team. We've got 2 underneath, but still a lot of work to be done for Damwon here.
Well, I mean, they've still got 50 full seconds to work with here. They know Harper's run into the bedroom and another missed opportunity. I hate to repeat myself. I sound like a record player on repeat, but so many missed opportunities here for Damwon. Yas missing the earliest shots and then another one there. They might have the man advantage, but with only 35 seconds left, this can go downhill very quickly. If you're C9 and you've got a C4 to work with, play with it. But at the moment, it sounds like the TCSG is all he'll be popping off with. 25 seconds left. It'll be kills, not the plant that goes off, and Harper, he'll start it off with a headshot.
3 versus 4 then. Damwon looking good at this point as pressure mounts. Harper shut down. 2 versus 4 kills raining. Courted, and Yas getting in there to finish the round off. Damwon take things and start to get themselves back into this. That's going to level the score, or bring the score up to 5 versus 3 rather on the scoreboard. But more importantly, Cloud9 had 3 consecutive rounds before that point. The brakes have been applied. Damwon, they've maybe not quite managed to derail the train yet, but they've certainly given it a wobble on the tracks.
That's what you need to do. Sometimes when, your opposition has a little bit of momentum, you've just got to stop it in its tracks however you can. Now that we have tactical timeouts, you can do that. You could pop that in, and they've already used that, and that didn't really work as successfully as they'd hoped. Now what they've been able to do is get one of those attacking rounds, turn it into a bit of momentum shift into their side, and they can be a bit more confident that C9 is going to play a bit more careful. If C9 don't, it's just because, it's C9. They've got the mentality to just run with it. They know they've got a couple of rounds to sort of buffer themselves with, 2 in total. And I don't know. Sometimes you can break the momentum, Ace. Sometimes you could completely shift it in your side and make the other team play a little bit more passive, which works in your favor. But when you're going up against a team like C9 who's seen it all, played it all, done it all, that might not always work.
Might not. Round 9, we are going to be heading down to Kitchen this time around. Cloud9 just choosing to change site. They don't want to have another attempt at trophy. They've decided instead to mix things up and just get down onto that ground floor. Now, I'd expect the top floor still to be quite important. Cloud9, they're going to be looking to create a little nuisance up there and prevent too much vertical control.
It's really interesting to me that Nova takes the TCSG. Most players have just completely gotten rid of that weapon as part of their arsenal on both Goyo and, of course, the Kaid. Just simply out of the fact that it doesn't do enough damage anymore. I mean, okay, you can use it for destruction, but I mean, maybe MV Taylor, instead of taking the MP5, could take a shot instead. I don't know what the thought process is, but of course, if they're going to have to take a Kaid, okay, maybe you can take the shotgun. Maybe MV feels better with the MP5. It doesn't really matter what it is in total. My problem will be is that overall, how much of that TCSG comes down to him not being able to win gunfights. And the aggression from C9, I said before, are they going to keep aggression? Yes, they will. They don't care that they lost the previous round. Momentum doesn't shift, and all of a sudden, they do it. It's a double kill there for Charles, one that should not have happened there, Des. Des, Ace. You know what? I'm so used to Des, you'll have to excuse me.
I'm gonna take no offense at that, Jess. Everybody gets one. Just like MV Taylor got Cat Sang. Nova moves in. This is an absolute storm from Cloud9 as they just find body after body after body, and Damwon, they are floundering, they're struggling, they are just trying to get a grasp of the rock face here and keep themselves clinging on as the waves just batter them time and time again. Courted managing to find 2 to try and rescue some sort of semblance, to try and gasp and just get any sort of oxygen into his lungs here and slow things down a little as he heads downstairs. He's given up on that top floor fight. He's looking to move directly in Route 1 here to site. Manages to find himself a third. That's going to be Static going by the wayside. 3 on the round, but now down to about 20 health. Courted does have the diffuser in hand. That is a point at the credit, but this is not going to be an easy situation. 1 versus 2 against 2 full hit point operators on the side of Cloud9. Envy and Harper, they've decided to just slow things down. They've hit the pause button and they're just waiting. They've held their angles and they just now need to allow Courted to push into sight here, which is surely going to have to happen momentarily as they go out. Envy Taylor in position beautifully to shut that down, showing just why the vertical can be so important on Villa.
He checked every single horizontal angle, but he had no idea that there was one holding above, and that's all it can take sometimes. Even if you're in a man disadvantage, one vertical hole can do a world of hurt. In that situation, it was definitely all done and dusted, but that doesn't mean that C9 didn't draw through a few bodies to the wayside in the moment of it. For me now, that we're on match point here, Ace, I'm worried. There's all smiles over in the C9 camp there. You can see a few of them laughing, having a giggle, whatever. You can't let that get to you just yet. Just because you have those 3 rounds to work with, we've seen multiple times in this Playday and the last Playday that the moment you get comfortable is the moment your opponent whips out a reverse sweep and absolutely dominates you.
Well, we've got a real battle at the top of the table there between Harper and Yas. We can see Harper currently sat on 11 kills, Yas on 12, and it really has been like that throughout the match, just trading back and forward. Now, Cloud9, they're going to head back to Aviator Game Room this time. They are opting to stay clear of trophy. They obviously don't feel too confident on the defense there after Damwon were able to come in and claim a round from them. So they're going to be setting up largely as expected. Shields being applied down towards the south stairs and towards that north side. Now, last time around, if I remember rightly, Damwon went with quite a heavy north-sided push here because we had Yas just sort of being chased as he was sort of coming through there. We had the Cloud9 defenders trying to hassle them. It was quite an aggressive round last time on Aviator Games.
That's not how I want to see the rounds go. I don't want to see it ending in just some aggressive sort of back and forth gunplay 1v1 here and there. That's not how this game, I feel, deserves to end. We've seen some really good things from Damwon on both of their sides here, especially with the Intel collection. I think Woogieman is one of the most underrated players in APAC North currently, as he exists as a quite really proficient support, flexible player. He's done a world of wonder here for his team, and if he was on another team, I'm sure he could do the same. Unfortunate for Damwon, however, they're going to lose their gunner. They're going to lose three ash charges, possible breaching charges or a claymore, and a nice little R4C, and it's all gone. And that's a big hit as they are trying their best to do that particular roam clear. They will manage to get that stair control, and that's something at least.
It wasn't boding well at the beginning of the action phase there for Damwon as they lost their gunner, but as you say, they have managed to get themselves back into it with a nice kill from Rin. We've got a little trade there with Envy taking Woogieman out of the round, but Courted able to pick up the opposite number as he managed to get in there and affect that death. Always important to be working in numbers. Now, Rin looking to apply some pressure, just getting in through trophy window. So this has now become a completely north-sided push, and Cloud9 fairly confident in that fact. I think you can see they're not too worried about the south side. They are focusing towards Vault, towards 90 corridor, and towards the red stairs.
I'm loving how they're using the drones here. This will work really well for them if they keep this intel collection up. They're going to use the Gon to get rid of that shield, and or maybe they're going to get rid of the Melusi, whichever one they decide to get rid of, and it does happen to be the Banshee. Now the shield is next, but do they have enough utility to work with? No, they don't, and guess who's dancing around it? It's Charles. He's had a pretty good second half, didn't really have the best of first half, but that doesn't matter because as long as you win this round, Ace, you can all make it up with a win. It's those points that mean the world, and as he dances this shield left, right, and center, this is where things will work really well for C9. It might be an even man advantage, but they haven't really been able to affect the gadgets and the utility that exists for the defenders. So really, the advantage is in C9's hands.
Shaw's in a great position there, and they're going to have to do something about him and Damwon in order to try and do so. Have rotated 2 men around to the study side, but it's quite late in the round to enable them to really affect too much here. 20 seconds left to go, and they do not have much time remaining to make this execute, but Shaw needs to be very aware of his rear there because he is about to be pushed from the study side, and here it comes. He gets pinched fantastically. It's Rin that manages to find the kill. Courted has to get in there with the diffuser, but won't be able to get through the toxic babes. This could come down to kills. 4 seconds left to go, and Damwon able to find 2. It's Yas, the man once again, who steps up, finds the kills when Damwon need them, and get another round on the board. They're not going anywhere just yet as we head into round number 11, 6-4 now.
That's all it takes sometimes, an executive call, whether it's your in-game leader, your IGL, or your shot caller that goes, we don't have enough pressure from the other side. If we just run in one by one, we're running into a murder hole. If we can have 2 of yous rotate over to study, pinch with us, because let's be honest, half of the study walls were already opened up from the defenders, we have a much better chance of getting on in. Unfortunately, the diffuser was stuck outside, but it was smoke. You couldn't run through it. They were 5 HP. That's when things came down to Yas over in study. Makes it work because at the end of the day, C9, they had no idea that study pressure was there late in the rotate. That is good communication. That's good adaptation, even late round. And that's what won them that round and keeps them in the battle here in this particular matchup.
Looking towards round number 11 then, going back to Aviator Games once again. Cloud9 still favouring this site, Jess, over Trophy Statuary. They were unsuccessful last round. They think that they can bring more here than they can in the north side of the top floor, obviously. Do you think that's the right choice, or are we going to be looking back at this and questioning this site decision?
I did say this last map, and of course last a half, that you probably shouldn't go back to the side upon which you made all of those mistakes and giving your opponents time to adapt to you. Do I think it's the same here? Well, no, not really, because what they're employing is a bit of a roam, a bit of an aggressive style here. They've changed things up slightly, but it is still going to be a heavy reliance on those red stairs as the power position. But Damwon, look how quick they're getting on in. This is what I'm worried about, is that they looked to the last round, they said, oh, we could have done this quicker, we could have done this quicker, and now they're actually doing it.
Damwon heading immediately towards those main stairs. They've opened up the main door. Yas just holding an angle, and Cloud9 need to be very careful here about how far they push down onto that mezzanine level of the stairs there. Too much, and they will expose themselves to Yas's ACOG. But Nova, he's smart. He's not going anywhere too far. Keeps his toes nice and safe as he just locks himself into a position to hold the tight angle with the shotgun. And meanwhile, Rin gets upside down on that Astro Repel, just looking to see if he can catch out any roamers. But Envy Taylor, he's going to keep himself unpredictable, hops over that balcony and just scuttles away on the bottom floor.
Well, I expect Damwon to really want to get this red stairs early on. You could see they want to throw out a couple of those Selma charges to open up the wall between Wolf and red stairs. That will give them the perfect angle to deal with the player playing there right now. But guess what? Harper, he scuttled away. He didn't want to play it anymore to help Charl out. He's going to hold the cross angle. This is the perfect setup. If you have a Banshee, a couple of ADSs, and someone watching from over towards Aviator, there's almost no way as an attacker you could push out without getting a casualty or two as you do it. They will finally open up this wall, Ace. And as we're getting just past the halfway mark, I'm sort of wondering to myself, is it too far too late?
It feels like this one is poised for a bloodbath. There has been no opening kill just yet, but it cannot be far away. The question I've got in my mind is, are they aware? Have they got Envy Taylor locked down downstairs? Charl joining him as well. Are they aware, or are Damwon going to be hit hard on the flank as the seconds tick away? We can see utility raining into the red stairs there, and it's no wonder we got a great view earlier on. There was a lot of defensive gadgetry in and around that area to prevent exactly this push, but it is very one-sided. As you can see, 4 of Damwon all stacked up on that north side. We've got Charl, we've got Envy Taylor still unaccounted for. They could hit them hard. The Gemini goes in to try and gather any information there, and it looks like the Selma has just been cleared off the vault wall. That could be a massive play from Cloud9, as it's going to allow Harper to keep himself locked in that power position. 15 seconds left to go. Still 5 versus 5. This is going to be a bloodbath. Just as they move in, Coated finds the first onto Static, but it's going to be a real battle against the clock for Damwon, more than a battle against Cloud9. Envy Taylor and Charl, I called them out throughout the round. 2 apiece. They were unaccounted for. They were not given the respect due, and they have just made Damwon pay the price.
There were so many factors to that round. That was the reason C9 could confidently walk away with it. It was time, it was patience, it was passiveness, and it was Envy Taylor on the roam, not willing to give up that roam until the very last moment. The smoke player of Nova, making sure all 3 smoke babes were available to be able to use in the last 20 seconds. It is the skill of all of the different support, roaming players, and flex players, and that is what will pull the win here for C9 today. And unfortunately for Damwon, they will walk away with not a single point to their hand today. But that's something they can recuperate later on. And I think, Ace, this game solidifies with us a little bit more that Cloud9, they are really at the top of their game.
What a great game to enjoy that was. That's really pepped me up for the day, as that one, Jess. It was an absolute, I loved it. It was great. We had, bits of strategy. We had that evolution on the fly. We had great gunfights. It was a beauty to watch. And you got to feel for Yas, 14-6 and coming away with a loss there, and keeping that survival rate high again, up at 50% this time, 60% last week, showing himself to be a real great player inside of that team. But Cloud9, they take the victory, and we're going to head back to our analysts to see exactly what they thought.
What a lovely game with a lovely man and a